all your
Look, we're making the new counterculture whether they want it or not. So who's going to run the non-woke answer to Newsarama or the non-autistic IGN?
Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. He's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Richard.
Look at me. We're gonna be okay. You can rest now.
Our new co-host that will be taking Richard's spot on the show is Mr. Emily Music. My next co-host, the man who will absolutely make you change. And by making you change, what I mean by that is he is going to help you change from having that story in your head to putting it on paper and putting it into people's hands. And this is the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel P. Riley of whimsyland.org.
Alcohol. A good Christian boy.
number one Iron Age booty daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Royce. Welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. I am buying him goat. I love goat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. What's going on, everybody? God, it just doesn't feel that good without my applause button, and my computer is supposedly on its way back. Yeah, what? Why are you here?
I don't know. Somebody sent me the link.
I'm gonna have to talk with Caro about that.
Yeah.
Infiltrating Andrew.
Fight with her. I'm not gonna. I choose life. I just do what Caro tells me to. Hey, go show up on Royce's stream. Yes, man.
Yes, ma'am. I know she does the same shit to me, and I don't know how I ended up working for her, but apparently I did. I'm like, yeah, okay. She's like, hey, you need to do this. I'm like, yeah.
Caro in the end.
You don't realize it until it's too late. Oh, I'm now subservient. Okay.
She's helping.
Yeah, that's what she always says. She goes, I'm helping.
She's a wonderful help. She is a
like,
wonderful
you're
help.
helping, but I'm scared.
I mean, there's a certain degree of healthy concern to operate within in your day-to-day life, right?
Yeah,
that's how we don't run into traffic. That's how we don't fight bears sometimes.
That's some of the dumbest crap. Oh God, before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. We are here. We do have some absolutely awesome guests coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, there's the man of the hour right now.
Hey.
Uh-oh. I can't hear the microphone.
Still no audio.
Oh no. Oh,
no audio, sir.
Oh, he's saying the gamer words right now that you can't say on YouTube. Say all those words, Mike. I approve.
Oh, we say those words on YouTube.
Release the words.
No, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. We are going to have a fun-filled night of conversations with some of the Rippaverse crew members, as well as Mike Barron. Assuming that we get the audio issues figured out. That's okay, though. But before we get into all of that, let's do this. Let's just introduce everybody. Let's say hello to the chat really quickly.
Hello, chat.
All right,
Hello,
over
chat.
on the chat, we've got Crimson Law. What's going on? We've got Redoubt Productions, Horizon Talker, AC Pritchard. What's up? We got Timo Burnham. We've got RH Snow. It's good to see you. Evelyn, stop
Hail the
associating
queen.
with the chat. You're a host. You don't associate with the chat anymore. Stop it. They're delinquents. They're miscreants.
They're what? They're what, Royce? What was that word?
Delinquents and
No,
miscreants.
the one you said before that.
Yeah, delinquents.
I think you forgot how to word.
No, I 100% forgot how to word, and then I remembered how to word, and then it's fine. It's fine. TJ Marquis, what's going on? It's good to see you. We got Jersey in the house. We got John A. Douglas. We got Bruce. What's going on, man? We got Call of the Roads as well. It's good to see you, dude. Bat Sauce in the house as well. Oh,
Our
good
video
Lord.
maker.
Animation Overload, DCC. What's going on? Caffeinated, stop doing that. Sheepsidian, guess who doesn't have a link to the show? I sent it to Caro. You should have a link to the show.
Sheep, the link is in the Hive Mind chat.
Did he not pay attention? I thought
I was the one paying the least amount of attention, but apparently I have some instinctive, obligatory reaction to something that involves you. I can't explain that. That sounds really homosexual. It's not the deliberation.
I wonder why the homosexuals are so interested in you.
I don't know.
That
man.
metric's getting bigger and bigger over there.
Bigger
Andrew.
and bigger. Oh shit! Fuck. That's an image I didn't need. Hey, everybody. Also, do me a favor. If you guys want to support the show, you can click that link in the pinned comment in the chat. That will take you to my link tree. You can do private donations through the PayPal over there. Or if you guys want something for your money, you can go over to the Teespring store from the link tree, and you guys can go buy the I Support Indie Creators shirt or the GOAT shirt or some original A Drink with Crazy shirts and some mugs and all of that. I am actually really surprised with how well the shirts have turned out. Mike Barron says, I have tried everything, but it ain't working. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, that's
Not cool, man.
So, Mike, I did that a few weeks ago. And if you can hear me, I did that a few weeks ago, Mike. And my computer died, so I had to send it back for warranty work.
Mike's just thinking, great. Thanks for cursing me with that.
Yeah. It might be a StreamYard setting issue. Okay. We'll let you guys talk and try to work that out. We got Sheep City, and what's going
There
on,
he
Sheeps?
is.
How you doing, man? Good. Are you
Your
miming
audio's
as
not
well?
there.
Yeah, his audio is not there as well.
He's just acting in solidarity with Mike. That's very
Oh,
respectful.
man. Dude, if we just have to read everything from the private, dude, I'm really
Oh, that'd be
excited
great.
for this.
Hold on, let me actually mute myself again.
Right.
There we go.
Hey, Sheeps, by the way, I'm finally getting to the shed.
But you got the goat first.
We did get the goats first, but now I'm getting to the shed.
It's about dang time.
I know, but 2 goats.
Somehow.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Mike Barron, legendary writer of Good
Who
into
just
Polymath, which you
took
can pre-order
off,
right
apparently.
now.
Disappeared.
And he also was gracious enough to sign this for me.
Oh,
It's
that's
great.
so
At,
cool, dude. What
Denver
issue
Fan
is
Expo.
that?
Well, Mike actually wrote the first volume 2 issues of The Flash after Crisis on Infinite Earths when Wally took over the mantle because Barry sacrificed himself. So he wrote the first, I think it was like 13 or some odd issues. So that's the first part of this omnibus here, and he signed this one, which was really
That's
cool
awesome.
of him to do.
Dude, it
Savage
is
Velocity. It's a good one.
It is so freaking cool to have. Like, I can't believe that Mike is here, and obviously with Mike Verona. Why have we been having tech issues for the last like 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah,
I
don't
don't know,
worry
your
about
channel's just gay.
that tracks.
That tracks. What the fuck? Oh, okay. So, gentlemen, For those who are not aware, you guys actually work over at the Rippaverse. You guys do things there.
I've not heard this.
I have. Trust me.
Have you?
Not in a while though. But for the audience out there, what do you guys do with the Rippaverse? And then I want to talk about the absolute insanity that it has been for like the last few months with you guys, because I've heard some behind the scenes, but I've not heard all the behind the scenes, and I would love to get into some of that.
Well, I believe in affirmative action, so I'll let Sheep go first.
Well, I think affirmative action is bullshit, so you spoke first.
I was gonna say, don't they put the gays before the blacks now? Shouldn't Andrew go first?
Wow. Wow.
Man.
All right. No, you know what? I can't even be mad. I can't
I'm
even
just
be
gonna sit
mad.
back
That was pretty not bad, Royce. Look at you. Pretending to have wit and everything. Fake it till you make it, right?
I get like one of them a night and I'm spent.
All right. Well, he's done, ladies and gentlemen. 30-second man. He's already done. I am
minutes in.
Andrew
How do you think I have
Rodriguez.
4 kids? What, you think I took time to get there?
Clearly not. God, your poor wife. Shout out to Albany if she's in the chat. Wonderful human being. There was actually I'll get to me in a second. There was a couple of large booths at and I said booths. I want to be clear here. That reminded me of your wife, because you need to be very respectful and deliberate with my wording here.
Yeah.
Booths at Denver Fan Expo, that it was people that had stuff like what she does with, like the skulls and and bones and stuff and all, and selling all that. And I was like, oh, it totally reminds me of Albany. But anyway, I thought she would find that kind of cool.
The funny thing is, she was in Denver the week before you guys were.
I know.
Yeah, a friend of ours bought pit tickets to Blink 182.
Yeah.
And he was like, he bought them for for 2 or 3 people, and like one of the people just ghosted him, and he was like, hey, I got 1 ticket, this person's ghosting me, I'm not gonna waste my time on them. And he's like, you 2 are the only 2 people that I know that would enjoy Blink 182. And I was like, no, I don't remember him telling me that it was the original lineup. Like dude, I was like, fuck.
That was a win. That was a win for her.
Yeah, that was a win. Oh, dude, the original. I couldn't believe Tommy came back for it. I was like, yep, missed out on that one, dude. Pit tickets at the Pepsi Center. Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. But yeah, so she was that's what sucks is she was like, God, because if she would have, if the weekends would have lined up, she was gonna go to the Fan Expo and meet all you guys.
That'd have been cool.
Well, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, but it was not cool because it was like a week apart.
That's all right.
Andrew,
one of these days.
What do you do for the Rippaverse? What's your gig outside of pissing people off on Twitter?
I don't. Okay, now listen. I don't do that as much anymore because I don't have time.
I know.
It's not because I'm a good person. I'm a super nice human being. It's because I don't have the time to dedicate to retards. So that's mainly it. But I'm the creative manager and lead editor as well as social media manager over there. So I manage all of our creative teams. I look over and edit scripts. I request art projects, video edit projects, things like that. I work very closely with our artists, whether it's for our internal team stuff, so graphics that we do for merch or website graphics, things like that, or the external team, which is the guys that are working on the books. It's a fantastic place to be, super fulfilling. I get to be surrounded by people that are so much more talented than I am. And I like to think that I get to absorb a little bit of that. Like I just spent this entire last weekend shadowing Mike Barron basically for like 3 days. And that was the coolest thing ever. Cause I mean, I've been reading his work forever. And so I got to chat with him about his storytelling process. And Mike's a great guy, and he chats about that all the time on various streams. But like getting to actually be just a foot or whatever across from him and, shoot the shit, talk shop. I like to think I picked up a few things that's going to help me in my own work. And so it's a fantastic place to be. And I got a great team around me. And I'm very blessed.
That's awesome. No, dude. And you guys are freaking killing it, man. You guys are just constantly moving. Really quickly, over on the private donation link through PayPal, IH, these are real names because PayPal uses real names and not our superhero names that we choose online, for $25 says, because GOAT, you bought GOAT, You must give goat food. Yes. The goat requires sustenance. Yes. And and the hay that we buy is not cheap right now. From your least favorite viewer, Crimson. You're not my least favorite. There's at least maybe like one other underneath you. You're not my least. You're like second least, maybe third least favorite, Crimson. Thank you so much for the $25 donation, dude. I do appreciate it. You have no idea how much that helps. We just moved the goats down to their new home at the farm. So, yeah. All right, Sheeps, man, it's been a while since we talked to you. For sure. I don't even know if I've spoken with you on like Twitter or anything in a hot minute, dude.
Rarely. I mean, I am active on Twitter, but rarely do I have conversations with anybody. I just shoot like lines every now.
I know. So tell everybody who you are, what you do at the Rippaverse, and then we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of like the absolute insanity that it's been for like the last few months. Because I want to hear some stories.
Well,
obviously nothing NDA worthy, but you know.
This guy is Sheepsidian. I am the community manager of the Rippaverse. Basically, I am you can say the in-between guy for the community, passing like all that fan reaction, fan feedback and whatnot back to the team, who then goes ahead and they brainstorm, they theorize, and so on and so forth, and then they throw that back out into the community. I'm the guy that's probably like one of the most front-facing, if not the most front-facing, next to Eric when it comes to interacting with everybody. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had in my entire life, primarily because I get paid to just have fun. Just chop it up with a bunch of people who enjoy as much as, I don't know if you hear the dogs in the back, but
you'll hear them in my house too. I got dogs, I got cats, I got the cats jump off the gun cabinet, and you'll hear it eventually.
Yeah, but aside from that, I am like, you know, the guy who's also manning the Gilded, soon to go over to the Rippaverse forums.
That's how you guys are managing that. I was wondering.
Yeah, that's currently in the works, and we'll have that up for everybody shortly, we'll say. Aside from that, I'm also one of the guys that like I answer a bunch of questions and whatnot for people who have any kind of issues when it comes to the website or anything like that. I'm not exactly like, you know, the techiest, but I'll do what I can, and then anything that I can't do, I pass it to somebody who knows how to. So, I mean, that's pretty much the crux of what I do.
You also help out with the social media as well.
I also help out with the social media stuff.
His role has been his role has been bolstered a bit in that area in the last since like Alpha Core. So
last
handful of months.
Like a half a year or so.
Yeah, so Sheep will do quite a few of the posts from the official account, as well as like respond and interact with the fans.
So when I tag like Rippaverse, like, hey, we're going live with Rippaverse crew, you're the one that gets the notification.
Yeah, I'm the one that sees it first.
Awesome.
I have the actual logins on my devices, so I get those as well. But
he sees the notifications first. I see it immediately second, basically.
There you go. So, okay.
So there's actually, I want to address this really quickly because there was a post that I put up recently. It was promoting the Yaira statue, and I mistyped. I put Q4 2024 and Q5 2025. That one was on me. That was on me because like that was right after we came back from Denver. I did like a 12-hour drive from Denver straight up to Montana. Went to sleep for like a few hours, woke up, went right back into work, and I was like, I'm not proofreading this. I don't feel
I'm not proofreading. You should have proofread it.
It's whatever, man. It's whatever. Accidents happen.
Oh shit! I was gonna make that joke. Nope, not gonna make that joke.
No, it doesn't work because it's math.
Sorry, I was gonna. Never mind.
Listen, I am one of the most inoffensive.
No, I just don't know exactly how far I can go on YouTube because they're getting into like the nitty gritty. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
fair.
it's if I had to rephrase it, you're like, I'm not gonna proofread that. I'm like, fuck, I didn't know they taught you people how to read. But anyway, Oh shit, they do that now? So
Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, well, to be fair, I taught me how to read, so
They well,
it makes sense that me know word really well. Like,
all right. Dude, no, I like to tell people all the time, like,
Reading
most of the
makes
crap
English
that I know
speaking
now, I
good.
didn't learn from school. Like, I got out into the world and learned it. God, I miss having irreverent streams because you guys get absolutely off the chain. It makes me happy. But before we go there, and while we're waiting for Mike to fix his microphone issues, hopefully he gets them fixed. Oh, that would be the worst thing on the planet. But all right, it's been absolute pandemonium over at the Rippaverse. Well, not like pandemonium, but like it's been crazy. It's been crazy. I have heard the workload, especially around Yaira, that release, plus the Fan Expo, plus obviously you guys are releasing Gooding, which I think is a fantastic character. When I saw him in Ice
Wait
2.
till you read the book, man.
It's gonna be a while, dude. All of my money is wrapped up into other things right now.
I get it.
Dude, the shed, the goats, just a lot, other things, getting my wife's car finally fixed, and because she backed into a horse trailer, and anyway, but regardless of all of that, I've got money wrapped up in it, so it's going to be a while before I'm able to buy anybody's comics for a while, but I've heard a little bit of the background. You guys were going nuts. You guys, I will say this, I do take issue with you guys being like, oh, the hamsters won. And then it's like, no, motherfucker, they went down in the first round. Like, just because they get back up doesn't mean the hamsters win.
The hamsters always win.
No, they don't. The hamsters don't win.
Yeah,
but anyway, what has that workload been like? Because you guys are fairly transparent when you post, as transparent as you can be in a Twitter post about what's going on, keeping your customers up to date, which is awesome. But one of the things that I want to hear is like, what's going on in the background? Like when all of a sudden it's like, hey, the website decided to commit Harry Carey again. What do you... If you can tell me what movie that's from, you win. But what's on your guys' like, what are you guys doing? Whose hair is on fire the most? Like, how, like, because again, you guys have launched multiple books back to back. I see you guys are getting away from really the campaign style and you're just going into the book release style now. Like, how has that transition been? Like, let's go. Like, we've got people that want to do what the Rippaverse is doing and they don't realize it's not just Eric July. It's a team of people helping him. And so any little bits that you guys are willing to share and some funny stories, because that would be awesome.
Well, the thing with scaling away from the campaign format, which was kind of like this big, highly promoted, celebratory, shindig that would happen. We'd build up to it, we'd tease it, and then it would happen. We'd have an entire page dedicated to it, built out on the website. Be this whole thing lasted whatever usually. I think most of our campaigns last something like 75 days, which is a long time. And it's too long because it's not something that allows us, that facilitates what we want to do, which is we want to start getting more books out more quickly. And we cannot do that if we're spending almost an entire quarter of the year on one book. We want to get to the point where we can get a book out every other month, right? And we're getting there. But that required us to kind of pivot from the way that we were doing things before. And there are a lot of things that come alongside that, both positive and negative. One of the things is that, and this was kind of something we all expected over at the Rippaverse early on, as soon as we realized, hey, we're going to need to like ramp up our production and ramp up our release schedule. And that's going to mean we're going to be spending less time on, individual book releases as opposed to campaigns. It'll be a shorter pre-order period, 30 or some odd days, right? So people got used to seeing, and this never should have been something that people got used to seeing to begin with, because this is not the standard. Like ISOM 1 hitting $3.7 million is not the standard. ISOM 2, even it was what, 2.3, 2.4, something like that. That is not the standard. Yaira hitting almost 2. That's still not the standard. Any indie, like, we don't do crowdfunding, but I guess if you want to lump us in, as so many people tend to incorrectly do, for the sake of argument, hitting over $1 million is not the standard. You have guys that will consistently hit in the six figures. Like I always like to call back to Brian Polito and Coffin Comics, his Lady Death, and the whole characters that he has in his universe and his pantheon over there. He's pumping out campaigns like every 2 or 3 months, like quarterly, at least, if not more. And they're always in the six figures. They might only be just barely in the six figures, but he's got a system where he's just investing in the next project. And he did that in a smart way. Instead of blowing the money elsewhere, he invested it back into his company, back into his project, so that he always has a project coming on the way. And the Kickstarter is literally just for him to be like, okay, let's get the interest level of how many people are interested in this particular project. The thing's already ready to print. As soon as we sort out how many people are interested in it, we hit print plus some overstock for, damages and stuff to put up on his own website later on for special sales. And that's it. And then he fulfills, and then he rolls right into the next one. And that's kind of a model that we're trying to replicate there, but with even larger books. Because he's doing that with his books are like 30 pages, maybe at tops for most of them. Because I backed a couple of them. But we're trying to do. We're trying to do that with 90 plus page books. Some books might be a little shorter than that, maybe 80. Whatever, maybe 70, but we're still making thicker books, right? We're trying to tell larger arcs, larger stories in one hit when we can. And so people got used to the idea that all of our books were just somehow going to make millions of dollars. That was never the expectation on our end.
Right.
It should not be the expectation on anybody else's end.
Well, and that was something that was said from the beginning.
From Eric, yeah.
Yeah.
Eric said
from,
that
well, yeah.
He said that right after ISOM 1. He's like, guys, don't get used to that. Like
this isn't going to be what we're going. This isn't what we're. This isn't what I'm expecting every time. Basically, like, I mean, the fact that he started with $100,000 floor in general was like that should have told you what he was aiming for in the first place. Is like recoup fees, and everybody's like, no, just start a whole company.
You made a post right after you guys launched Gooding, and it was like, holy crap, we're not doing the campaigns that we've done before. We don't have the t-shirts, we don't have all the extra merch, all the extra good. There's just one shirt, one
poster, and the book.
Yeah, that's it. And we made over $100,000 or something in like 24 hours, and I'm like, dude, that's really good. Like when you don't,
that's really good.
Like, and the one thing I will say this though is that when Gooding came out, it just hit, and it was like, oh snap. Like, you guys have been really good about, and I want to get thought as much as you guys are able to share, willing to share. But really quickly, let me read this this chat over on the Mean Green website, Rumble. Kikomon for $5 says, on average, humans eat more bananas than monkeys. This is partially because most humans don't like the taste of monkeys. Fuck.
Stupid. I wrecked.
The blades are pretty good though.
I would smoke a monkey. I mean, if you season it right, anything.
You're redneck
anyway.
as fuck, Roy.
Oh, dude, you have no fucking idea. I keep telling people this, and nobody believes me because I talk about all this nerdy crap. And then I did the one video.
It has meat on it. Yeah, I'd smoke it.
Yeah, why not?
Never know.
It's like it's
I'm
fine.
expecting possum at the barbecue.
Yeah. Hey guys, try this. This is delicious.
We have very few of those out here.
I would imagine possum would be kind of stringy.
Yeah.
No, I've heard
it is.
Well, depending on the area it's in, I've heard that it's kind of sweet. It can be kind of a. Like,
I've had rattlesnake. That's actually really sweet.
Rattlesnake is freaking good. Dude. Oh, rattlesnake is tender if they cook it right. If they don't cook it right, it's dry as. But anyway, okay. But let me get back to this. All right. Yes, I'm a redneck. People don't believe me. They're like, no, you're a nerd. And then they see my smoker update video that's still on my channel where I had a smoke in one hand and a beer in the same hand. And I was showing off the smoker because I had my phone. And it was, anyway, the hype train thing, you guys have done very well since ISOM 1. You did it very well. ISOM 2, Yaira. Gooding didn't seem to have that like buildup of the hype train.
Yeah.
And I recognized that like the day of. I was like, okay, this is a different model. where you guys are trying to calm people down from like, okay, it's the hype train, it's the season, it's time for everybody to start getting excited, and now it's just like, here's a book.
Yeah.
Right.
How is that transition working for you guys?
So
or
it's
do you
working
not
really-
know yet?
Well, it's working really well in terms of profit. I don't know where this rumor started, but somebody on Twitter, and maybe that's all you really need to know, is that it was somebody on Twitter that said it, made the suggestion that our books need to make over $1 million in order to be profitable. I don't know where people got that idea, but it is not a thing. Gooding was a coffee.
Where everybody gets their ideas these days from the inside of their own colon.
We have production budgets of like MCU movies for like 72-page books.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally. We've got the production budget of the Acolyte, right?
Yeah.
We won't go down that rabbit trail, but no, Gooding the Polymath was profitable within its first few hours. Like that book has been more than profitable. The book has done very well for us, and so it's actually strategic to taper back the kind of like pushing the super celebratory, the jubilation, this whole buildup that you were talking about, Royce, a minute ago, because we're trying to. It's psychology, really, and there's a marketing strategy behind it. We're trying to get people used to the idea of just knowing that a new book is coming, instead of there needing to be this huge, massive, month-long buildup to it, because we're going to be at a point probably next year where we can't afford to take a whole month to build up to a book, because we're releasing a book that month anyway, and then probably one the next month, or at least the month after. And so we, in the same way that so many of us just know or knew in a lot of our cases to go to our comic book shop every Wednesday, right? Because we know there's going to be a new book coming out. It's not always going to necessarily be, an issue of Batman or Amazing Spider-Man or whatever, because a lot of titles are monthly, or at most, twice monthly, rather than weekly. But we knew that we were going to have something in our kind of subscription box and our poll list ready to go for us. That's what we're trying to get our fan base and our customer base used to, is to just know that at some point, check in on our store monthly, because there's going to be something new. Maybe it's going to be a book. Maybe it's going to be exclusive merch item, whatever it is.
And that could even be as easily as an email list. And you just send out an email.
We do send out emails when the pre-orders go live.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's just like people who sign up for the email list. It's just like, you could send out just an email that's just like, hey guys, what's new in the store today? And people are like, wait a fucking minute. What? What do you mean what's new in the store? You could do, okay. That's a really different model you guys are going to have to tackle.
Yeah.
Well,
it's going to take some getting used to, both on our end and our customer base's end.
I think that's the benefit of like, this being a company as opposed to just like, a crowd, someone doing crowdfunding kind of thing, is especially with like, the first 4 releases doing as well as they did. We're now at a point where we can basically run with this model in a manner that it's more of like an experimental thing. And there is a very, I guess you could say, very little fallback on it. We put out Gooding, and it does as well as it does. And then next up is Horseman, and it does as well as it does. And that whole thing just keeps going. People get used to that new format. And and like Eric said, it's not to say that like, the original plan that he had, the original 75-day campaign window, it's not to say that that's going completely away or anything like that. It might pop up again at some point.
There will be releases that will look more like the traditional campaigns that we do.
Yeah, but ultimately what he wants people to do is get used to knowing that there's going to be new stuff happening faster and faster. Basically, he's trying to build a company where he can just have essentially content just moving itself, as opposed to people waiting like every 3 months, 4 months, half a year, something like that.
4 years.
He wants to do something. Yeah, he wants to do exactly. He wants to do something big, and just create like, the next big comic company, not just books. So,
and something important to remember, and anybody that's been familiar with comic books knows this. People that pretend this isn't a thing are just advertising their ignorance or their intellectual dishonesty. Take your pick. In comic books, especially in comic books where it's an expansive universe, you have this wide variety of characters and genres that you're covering and you're making available to your reader base. There's inevitably going to be characters that are more broadly popular than others, right? Punisher isn't unpopular. He just doesn't appeal to as wide of a base as Spider-Man, right? It's not like he doesn't have fans and a strong fan base. Let's just ignore what modern Marvel is doing with literally anybody. But just I'm speaking in general terms, right?
Yeah.
Punisher fans are Punisher fans, right? And you can't tell them otherwise. They just don't number in the same number as Spidey fans.
Really be afraid to tell Punisher fans that it's not as good. Like if there's like I'm at a con,
it's not a matter of
and there's
good,
like
it's not a matter of
75
quality.
motherfuckers that look like the Punisher. Am I really going to tell them that that's not
Frank Castle.
because like I feel like at least 10 of those guys are going to be very motivated by Frank Castle. And I'm just going to end up in a dumpster in a not good way at the end. Like they're
But that's how it is in an expansive universe, right? And you look at the same thing over at DC, right? Batman is going to outsell anything, basically, 9 times out of 10, right? But that doesn't mean that X character isn't also popular. It's just not selling the same numbers as Batman because Batman's more widely popular, and that's fine. And that's what we expect. We expect there to be characters that are going to have their fan base, but they're going to be a little more niche. And that's fine. Comic books is already a niche medium, right? And so you have to, that's why we gauge and react with the customers. And that's one of the reasons why I love the Ripazine so much, because we can, that's kind of like our test market that we can do. We can test in, 13 to 15 page short stories, new characters that we're like, I think the fans might enjoy this, but we don't necessarily want to just pull the trigger on an 80+ page book on it right off jump, right? There you go. So let's get customer feedback, right? We did that with
all
Salvage.
Right, Vanna White, calm down.
We did that with the Salvage in the first Ripazine, and people responded very well to it. Guys, keep tagging us on Twitter, keep emailing us. Let us know that you enjoyed Salvage PI, because Eric has said this on stream. He's ready to write more. He's ready to write a whole ass book. And Bart Sears has already said he's on board to do a whole ass book. So just let us know. And that's the beauty of being independent, because we can be reactive with our customer base. There's going to be things where we're very confident are going to be popular right off jump, which is why, basically as soon as ISOM 1 did really well, we're like, okay, the fans seem to respond well to Alpha Core and Yaira. Let's give them their own books.
I will say this. I'm going to throw this out there. I absolutely, 1,000% detest the Rippaverse fans for one thing. They didn't like Norfolka, and I still don't have a fucking Norfolka book.
Listen,
you'd be mistaken.
Listen, the Rippaverse fans did like Norfolka.
Yeah.
Then where the fuck is Norfolka?
On its way, I guess. Probably
everything in due time. Look,
This
is something important. This is something really
I'm a chain smoking, beer drinking fucking redneck. I don't have a lot of time.
This is something people need to remember. Eric isn't just writing a couple of the books. Eric is, for lack of a better term, the CEO. He's the founder of the company. He's running a lot of the day-to-day business stuff. He's in constant meetings, working with our studios, working with our printers, working with all these other entities to make sure things are operating properly, while also trying to write other books. So he's stated this live. He's going to wrap up the ill-advised arc for ISOM. And before he gets on to ISOM 4, yes, Twitter, Eric is still writing ISOM. I don't know where the idea that it wasn't going to be came from, but he's still writing ISOM. He's just stated he's going to write a couple other characters first and then jump back into that.
Mm-hmm.
There are other books coming that Eric is going to be writing.
The fans, for example.
He wants Salvage to be one of them, and right now it's looking like that might be. However,
Norfolk.
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about nothing. That's a lie.
Bullshit. You absolutely know some shit about some shit. You're not saying it. But
going off of fan, I got you. Here we go. Going off of fan.
Shit. Where's my sign? I brought that back with me from Denver.
There you go.
You gotta go run and get the sign.
Going off of fan hype, I guess you can say. There are people who want Norfolka. There are people who want an SSWL run.
I don't know where it is.
Southern Style Wrestling League run.
Right.
And a lot of other subplots.
I know Bloodruth hit hard.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, even me,
dude. Nobody wants a black female character.
I'm saying, get that shit out of here.
What was I? There was what was I thinking of? It was two characters in the Rippaverse, and I can't remember who they were at the time. But it was Bloodruth teaming up with one other character, and God, I cannot remember who it was. But Bloodruth teaming up with one other character in the Rippaverse. No, it wasn't Gooding. It was I'm sorry. Actually, it was Norfolk. To see because okay, yeah,
Takari and Bloodruth look the same. I get it.
Wow. Just because they black.
I mean, you forgot ISOM too. I guess ISOM's too white to be the same as them. Whatever. Fuck, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Avery Silman's white passing.
Well, he owns a ranch.
He owns a ranch. He doesn't work
so
on
obviously it. He's white passing, right?
He's white adjacent.
Yeah.
Great.
Anyway, no, I just thought that would be something, not necessarily like a crossover, but like a cameo, where they're just all right, we know who you are, you know who we are, we need some information, let's exchange information. Just one of those scenes, because if I understand correct, that being said, after reading Yaira, I'm okay, well, Norfolka would fit in kind of differently in that whole realm. But anyway, Kikomon for $5 over on the Rumble says, when I die, I want to go how my grandfather died, peacefully in his sleep, not screaming like the passengers in his car.
Yeah.
That's
and you look over, you say, shut up.
Oh shit. Kikomon for $5. My therapist said I should write letters to people who've wronged me and burned them. Done. But what do I do with the letters?
Wow.
That's all right.
I like it.
Sheeps is just that's Kikomon, man. So
I like grim jokes.
Oh God. Daniel. What? Evelyn Music. I forgot to say hi to you guys earlier. I'm sorry.
That's too late now.
I could do it now.
The moment passed.
We have to try to make the new moment. We've got to try to make the new moment.
It was performance anxiety. You got to just roll with it.
It's just, if you don't make
I'm welcome, I went directly to the chat.
Stop associating with a fighting chat. They're miscreants and delinquents.
It's your fault.
I don't know why.
It's who you're attracting. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, that's weird. I want to get a Japanese anime at this point.
Because he skipped us.
The miscreants and delinquents.
If he hadn't have skipped us, I wouldn't have gone to the chat where I'm welcome.
Wow.
Anime is great.
There's a cat.
They gave a schlock like isekais.
Yes. I'm really enjoying the acrobatic cat in the background.
He irritates me. Wait, no, is that nope, that's Addie. She irritates me less.
Until
she's a cat, she'd irritate my sinuses.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
I don't like cats. Well, if you don't like cats, why do you have cats? I don't know. Maybe because I married a big titty goth girl and I'd really like her to stick around, and cats make her fucking happy. So guess what? I'm gonna deal with cats for the rest of my fucking life now.
That's kind of the plight of man. It's I love animals to death. I don't see myself as a pet person, but there are like 6 animals in this house that don't that I didn't buy or pay for or anything. Well, I mean, I buy their food, but that's primarily because I'm a fan of women, and the woman
specifically one woman.
The one woman, yes, that one woman. You all know her as Horror Amarada. Yeah, she's great. I want to keep her, so
yeah.
I'll bite the bullet on this one.
Yeah, yep. I have bitten many bullets before. It's almost like cereal to me now.
No milk necessary.
Is that your Wheaties in the morning then, Rice?
Dude, I don't know what my Wheaties in the morning is anymore. I don't know. When I tell people, I'm like, dude, I wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and I hit the ground running and I just go until like 11 o'clock at night. People are like, what are you? I'm like, I don't know.
Alive, I guess.
Okay, yeah. I just go. Although I will say this, I've noticed, like, after a really long day at work, really hard to do, the well done rant videos at the end of the day. So I'm going to try to kind of do some of the rant videos maybe on the weekends and get those ready for like the future week and try to get those edited. And hopefully my computer gets back, because rendering took 2 hours for an 8-minute video the other day, because I am on my old computer and my new computer is getting good. Okay, so Daniel, Evely. What?
You keep saying our names and then talking.
Well, I was going to say hi to you, and then you were like, no, we don't want to say hi. And then I'm like, well, you guys got to have questions. Like, I don't you guys are my co-hosts and you're not asking questions. And I just want to know, like, well, do you guys have questions for the Rippaverse crew?
You guys got to know at this point that if Royce feels like he can continue talking, he will continue talking.
No, I've been getting better. That's why I drink. Lately. Because I have a lot of questions that I would ask, but I also want my co-hosts to get a word in edgewise.
We'll step on your toes if we have a question. We're just enjoying the conversation,
Well, by all means, fire away.
I guess one I have off the top of my head
got
here
a double-sided sign, so it's all good.
There you go.
With the Rippazine, how often is that supposed to be being released? Is that like a quarterly?
So my goal for that is actually to make it quarterly. Okay. The second issue, I'll say this, the second issue is actually all but done. Pre-orders will go live for that very soon. I'm not going to say when, but soon. I really want that to become a quarterly thing, because that's a fun, like, in between, like, kind of, I don't want to say necessarily palate cleanser, but it's a nice thing where you're not going through a freaking, 90 to 130 plus page book. It's, whatever page count we go with for that issue of the zine. You get some preview pages for coming books. You get some fun interviews, some like in-universe perspective articles from some of the characters, original short stories. You guys are going to love the one that's going to be in this second issue of the zine. We got the fun Pigeonverse stuff that we do for the fans.
That's pretty good. I'll give you guys that. That's actually pretty good.
Thank you. And to all you freaking pigeon obsessed weirdos out there, you're welcome.
Dude, somebody started that. It was like, oh, look, the pigeon.
It was
like
Kara. Kara started that shit.
No, you know what it was? It was it was one of your animated trailers. I can't remember if it was Isom 1.
It was Alpha Core.
Or it was Alpha Core. And the pigeon was there.
And
was it Kara that was like something that took a screenshot and was like, something is up with that pigeon, and everybody ran with it.
She started a freaking movement.
And then you guys need to do like a pigeon and hamster like short story, just fun like comic for kids.
Look,
and it's the roided out hamster that's
I'm just saying.
Dude, that would be absolutely hilarious. Like Pinky in the Brain style, but pigeon in the hamster.
I'm not confirming anything. All I will say is
you'll never confirm anything.
Okay, so at least you learn kind of
the magazine.
Eventually.
There's Isom.
Look,
Isom's in the book. I don't know about any pictures or anything like that, but get the magazine.
This company was made by comic book fans. The modern mainstream comic book industry got away from paying attention to and giving the fans what they want. We're trying to correct that in so much as we can. And so when the fans show, significant enough interest in something, we're going to do our best to provide that something. That's why I was like, all right, fine, we'll give them the pigeon shit. Like, let's make it fun. They'll hopefully they'll get a kick out of this. I got a kick out of it. So
pigeon miniatures, like little pigeon.
And it's not that first one in Ripazine #1 was not the end. Trust me, I promise. Marcos and I are working on a lot. So there will be more of the pigeon stuff, guys. And I'm glad that people had fun with that, because it's just so it's a simple 1-page strip. It's not a crazy layout. It's not 1.5 million panels, but it's meant to just be kind of a fun, like, hey, fans, like we know you enjoy this kind of tongue-in-cheek stuff, and like we appreciate you. Like I hope you have fun with this type of a thing. And I'm glad that it got such a good response. I genuinely am, because if anybody that's in our gilded, soon to be not gilded, because Roblox or some gay shit.
Yeah, I'm deactivating mine this weekend. I'm deactivating the server.
You guys don't like Roblox?
Getting dumb. No, hell no.
Certainly not enough to make it a requisite thing in order to have a gilded. So no, thank you. Sorry, see you, bye.
I'm messing, just to be clear. I'm just messing.
And says, I want more T-shirts with obvious character logos. Okay, well,
that mean exactly?
I think we have T-shirts that have like art of the characters and like their logo behind them. My guess is maybe like just the logo, so maybe just the Y for Yaira, the stylized Y, or just the I for ISOM, things like that. Alpha Core, because we have the beanie for Alpha Core, but we haven't done that.
Just work your way through the alphabet, you'll be fine.
Yeah, eventually.
People be getting to like G, and they're like, "What? Wait, what?" And they got like an L in there, and like we don't even know what this. It's just the Rippaverse alphabet. People be trying to guess like what characters start with those letters.
Like what?
Oh, look, he's got an S on his chest. It's a fake Superman. No, it's just Solari. It's fine.
It would be an Alpha Core thing, but yeah, I mean the
P1 should just be the pigeon staring at you.
That's the easiest type of merch possible to do, because that literally just requires grabbing the freaking file for the logo, spritzing it up a little bit and slapping it on the shirt, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
There you go, guys. Bam. Like this hat.
It's very easy. My shirt's behind Justin.
There it is.
Yep.
Nice. I feel like I forgot the question because we rabbit trailed. I'm gonna blame Royce for that. Rabbit trails henceforth are always Royce's fault.
The question was about how often the Ripazine magazine was going to be out.
So I did
answer.
Yeah.
Talk about other stuff.
No,
I'm still gonna blame Royce for the rabbit.
Well, the price point on the magazine too.
The gays always blame other people but themselves.
Sorry, what was that? Just
what's the price point on the Ripazine?
So the Ripazine, at least for the first issue, we did $7 for the standard cover, and it was $20 for the metallic cover collector's edition, which was a low print run.
Oh no, that was a short box. I'm gonna leave it there.
And we have a deal where if you are even a base Rippaverse member, which is $5 a month, you will get each issue of the Ripazine, like the standard cover, for free.
That's been cool.
So awesome. We're trying to promote stuff like that. We're trying to add more value to the memberships. But we want to make the Ripazine definitely one of those things that's like also like people can buy it piecemeal if they want, but it can also be implemented as a perk in terms of like included with your membership. That was something that was very important to the team.
Yeah, that $7 price point, I was like, you're making me buy this. I mean, shipping, I think, where I live ended up being more than the book itself. But
dude, and this is,
I gotta try it,
And this isn't like I guess tooting my own horn as a salesman, though I have been a salesman in the past. But like at Denver Fan Expo this past weekend, we had a bunch of the zines with us, and the Ripazine is like the easiest sell in the world. Like, hey man, maybe you're not necessarily confident enough yet because you're new hearing us about it, and sure, who the hell are we? We've only been around for 2 years. That's nothing, right? In the grand scheme of things, we're infant company, all things considered.
I got
But
it.
so maybe you're not, ready to pull the trigger on a, $25 cover D for Yaira #1. Fair enough, right? But okay, this right here is kind of like a sampler. $7. You get 10 or 8 to 10 some odd preview pages for our first 4 releases. Get interviews with our creatives. Get a 13-page original short story. Like there's actual legitimate value in that book. And so that was like the easiest thing in the world to pitch to people. And it's like, hey man, if you don't dig it, what's $7? If you do,
Exactly.
and maybe one of those stories that had preview pages for in the back tickled your fancy, come on back, man. Whether it's later today or the next day or whatever, some point during the weekend, and pick up the whole book.
Right.
Yep.
I love too in the magazine. There's a couple pages in there where you have a recipe on one side, and then there's for I forget what the meal was or the food, and then on the other side you get
the chili.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then I say you get the
chili.
drink recipe, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, has anybody out there made these yet? Because
Well,
I
no.
haven't done a deep dive on YouTube, but I'm curious.
That chili. Here's this isn't an NDA. That chili is actually Caro's chili that she
Nice.
makes, and her chili. I don't think she's watching because she's been working like a freaking workhorse lately, so she's probably crashed. And I wouldn't feel bad about her hearing me give her praise because she already knows how I feel about her chili. Her chili is god tier.
Nice.
Like this is the best damn chili I've ever had in my life, and it is absolutely stellar. And that recipe in the first Ripazine is the recipe to her chili. So
that's great.
I'm joking. She's not in the chat.
I said, you weren't gonna scare me about me giving her praise. Like she knows how I feel about her chili.
She just shows up in the chat. She's like, "Thank you."
What she would do is she would say, "I heard my name." That's what she would enter with. Yeah. That's what she would enter with.
So, are there plans to keep that going? Because I mean, I'd love even if there was a video where maybe Caro herself shows us how to actually make that recipe, and you get your own like Rippaverse cooking channel going or
cooking
something.
with Caro.
Exactly. There you go. It's brand Rippaverse. I would absolutely watch that. So sub and all that.
So, like I said, we're very fan reactive. So whatever the fans respond positively to, on at least to a certain level and certain quantity, we're going to do our best to like dial in on that, because it's like, oh, okay, so the fans want that. Let's give the fans what they want, right? That seems like business 101. Let's keep doing that, right? That makes sense and it makes money. Why not? Like people shoot the friggin' Ice on One campaign. People are like, hey, so why isn't there a Yaira t-shirt? I have to message Igor and be like, hey, how quick can you bang out a Yaira t-shirt? And so first week, or like the end of the first week, we've got a Yaira t-shirt up on there. And Igor's poor wrist he's probably right-handed because he's not weird like me. Igor's poor wrist was dying at that point because he couldn't keep up with all of the milestones and things like that. That was fun times though. It was a great problem to have, blessed place to be. But to the point though is that if our fans tell us we want something or that they want something, we're gonna do our best to give it to them. If we can make it make sense,
sure.
And fan demand, once it reaches a certain point, a certain quantity, it makes sense, we're going to do it, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Have you received feedback like what I just gave in terms of those specific pages? Are people into it?
We've had emails and DMs and things like that saying they enjoyed that there was stuff that made it feel like it wasn't just one big ad for something, right? That there was stuff that kind of made it feel like what we're trying to do with the Rippaverse, which is make it a lived-in world. And we want to make things. That's why it was called Harriet's Kitchen. There's going to be reasons you'll learn later on in later books for that. We want this world to feel lived in. We want it to feel, populated, and we want people to have fun with it. So little things like recipes, whether it's for drinks or for actual meals, stuff like that. And little articles that are from the perspective of some of the in-universe characters. That's fun stuff to do. And as long as the fans are having fun with that, we're going to keep doing it because it's fun for us to do.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love to hear that because the magazine is cool. The interviews were interesting. And obviously Salvage PI, which maybe we get back to that in a second. But I got to those recipe pages, and like you said, it's not just random. They are tied into the Rippaverse world, and it makes sense. But I saw that and I was like, okay, they're having fun with this. This is cool. And then you get to the pigeon comic. I'm like, okay, if they keep doing more of this, I'm gonna keep coming back to the well for sure, because I had a lot of fun with that.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm genuinely
it's
glad
good stuff. Yeah. And I gotta say, Salvage's design is awesome.
The first time I saw Salvage's design, man, I was like,
Bro,
dress is clean.
Too cool.
Pinstripe suit. He's got the hat. I was like, okay.
Listen, you're reading Salvage, and it immediately takes you to, like, you know, the 1920s, 1930s, and you're just like,
I told Eric this in Denver, actually, because for some reason I hadn't told it to him before, even though I was lead editor on the story. I said it was so funny hearing about the Salvage story for the first time, because I was like, a noir detective story? Eric has never publicly talked about having any interest in noir detective stories. I was like, can Eric write a noir detective story? Like, I even said this to his face. I was like, I had no idea. I was like, can he? I don't know. And then I read the script, because again, I was lead editor on it, and I'm like, well, shit. Okay, Eric can write a noir detective story. And that was like probably his best writing to date. Wait till you guys read Ice on 3. That's a banger. It's huge. That book is easily our largest book by far.
Awesome.
Like Ice on 2 is still our largest currently. Ice on 3 is larger by a fair margin.
Good deal.
That book is a thick boy.
Thick is good. Thick is good as well.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Super.
Thick is great.
Yeah.
We like thick here.
Yeah. With Salvage, obviously, dude's dripping with style, and I'm curious what kind of music he's listening to, so I could see something, you know.
You already like whatever music you think he's listening to. That's what it is.
Well, I'm picturing like there's a QR code, and I don't know how this works in terms of, because obviously artists out there, and I don't know how all that works legally, but if you could scan like a QR code and it opens up a Spotify playlist with tracks or something, so I could throw that music on.
Interesting.
I like having music on while I'm reading these things. It helps get me into that world rather than just birds chirping.
I totally get that, and I'd be curious to hear Daniel's take on this, because I don't want to be rude, actually. I don't know if you're a writer as well, Justin. Terms of like, okay. I didn't want to just assume that you weren't, and you'd be like over here like, hey, what the fuck am I, chopped liver? But I know Daniel is, and he's had a fantastic project already with more to come. But do you have, when you're writing your stories, do you have kind of like a certain genre, a certain type of music in mind that like keeps you dialed in, whether you listen to it before you start writing or whether you listen to it while you're writing? Because I myself just wrapped up writing a script last month, and the entire time I was writing it, I had one vibe in mind, one very specific sound in mind, and I listened to it nonstop while I was writing, and it just kept me like completely dialed in and zoned in, to where I was able to knock out a what was it, like almost 130 page script in just a couple of weeks.
Very nice.
Like I was just, and that might be nothing to some people. Somebody like Chuck Dixon would be like, yeah, so that's a day project for me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, okay, that's fine. You're also comic writing God. I'm not comparing myself to you. But like that was a big deal for me to be able to bang out something so consistently and just be so dialed in and zoned in. The music helped with that.
Yeah. This is something I am personally working on. It's kind of I guess it would be my nonfiction magnum opus, which is a system I call the Mood Machine. And one of those things in the Mood Machine is corresponding inspirational soundtracking, which is creating a playlist of specific music and styles that complement what it is that you are trying to bring out of your brain. Because I find that it's a lot easier personally, I don't tend to listen to music during the writing because it's a little bit distracting,
Yeah.
especially if it has lyrics. Because
Oh, okay, yeah, I could not. If it had lyrics, I would be squirrel brain, and I'm not even ADHD. Like I would be like, no, I can't do that. Like it has to strictly be instrumental.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my problem with it. But beforehand, during what is my, warm-up phase to sitting down and actually writing, yeah, I have specific playlists for every single thing I've written. I actually responded or commented on one of the Saska's posts about the Queen of the Dam soundtrack, because the soundtrack to that movie was part of my playlist for a new book that'll be coming out in October. And it's vampire oriented, obviously. That and a bunch of like really cool 70s 80s pre-goth and goth explosion bands that were big during those periods of time, and a little bit of the industrial of the 90s and early 2000s. But that would play on a constant loop while I was working out, doing chores, whatever, until it was time to sit down and write. And then that was what was in the back of my mind most prevalent when I sat down to work. So yeah, music is exactly what it's meant to be. It's an inspiration, and you should use it as such.
That's what I do with my drawing. It's like like when I'm doing my stuff, like after I'm done with Rippaverse stuff for the day, I spend a good amount of time just like drawing. I have a tablet right here, so what I have is like I have like an infinite number of different playlists to fit different moods and whatnot, for whatever it is that I'm drawing. So like to keep me in that kind of like mindset, I have something high energy for whenever there's like some action going on in the picture that I'm drawing, or if it's like something calmer or something like that. That's when I throw some obviously calmer music on. And in drawing, I can also listen to lyrics as well, because I don't need to focus on writing so much. The writing,
correct. Lucky.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I can't. I'm so into music. Like I can't. I can't, if I'm working on something like a script for a video or anything like that. Like I cannot have music on, because I'm a musician by like that's what I did for years of my life. And so like me, all of a sudden I just get into like I'll be working on something and I'm like, God, that breakdown was so good. Oh, that I'm like, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh wait, oh there you go, you get it, dude. But like I cannot have music on in the background if I'm working on something. Oftentimes what I will do is I will have like I'll just like put podcasts on in the background, because if I listen to music, like I'm listening to music.
Oh man,
like,
that would be infinitely worse for me. I'd
where
start like transcribing. I'd be writing what the idiots are saying in the background instead of what I want to write.
Oh no, dude,
legal transcriber, just typing everything out.
That's what like I
did for a while, yeah.
Parallel processing thing where like I can have my foreground thought of the thing that I'm working on, and then everything like going on in the background. And like the podcast can just be playing, and I'm like half-ass listening to the podcast while I'm like writing a script or something for a video. And then, but if I put music on, that new,
Really,
like I get so into it that I'm like, I'm listening to the timing, I'm listening for the mix, I'm listening for like the post processing.
I guess if you're a musician and so you're more familiar with all the technical aspects and facets of music production, that makes sense. For me, I can't do either. Like I can't listen to somebody's lyrics while I'm writing, while I'm working. And I couldn't listen to like a podcast or something like that. If I was doing something that's like creative writing, right? Where I'm trying to just be zoned in and bang out a story. If I'm doing other work-related stuff that isn't necessarily requiring creative writing, that's easy. But like, if I'm trying to tell a story, somebody talking in my ears can be so distracting.
So like, well, this is an interesting question to ask everybody here.
Quick sidebar before the question, though. Real quick, one thing that I did find that actually works for someone while they're in the writing process, if music is distracting, white noise and whole tones are fantastic. For some reason, whole tones obviously, but white noise specifically, it's so monotonous that it actually helps you focus your brain.
Maybe I've been listening to the wrong ones. When that plays in the background, it makes me feel like I'm slowly going crazy. I'm like,
Oh,
shut up. What is that?
So
It depends on the volume, I guess. That might drive you crazy, but I've worked with the white noise machine on in the background, and
Why not a black noise machine?
Really well.
Wow. I'm so glad you made that joke, Sheep, because I was
I
gonna.
thought the black noise machines were in a different room.
Yeah, they are. Something,
It's separate but equal, okay? Listen.
Something urban areas.
Have their own space now.
The exaggerated swag of a black teen.
Oh, well, yeah, you said
Fuck. Okay. All right. So I got a question that I want to ask the chat, but before I've got to read some super chats. Kikomon's dropping all these jokes over on Rumble.
Oh, no.
For $5. For $5, Kikomon says genders are like the Twin Towers. There used to be two, and now it's just a sensitive subject.
No, because unlike the Twin Towers, there are still only two.
There's that too, yeah.
Kikomon for $10 says, how many cops does it take to change a light bulb? 3. 1 to shoot the room for being black, 1 to beat the bulb for being broke, and 1 to change the bulb.
Hey, I like that. I like that one.
That one's pretty good. That was pretty good.
I've heard that one before. That is good.
Fuck, I gotta remember my question now.
That was pretty good.
That one was really good. That one actually threw me off.
Yeah.
So my question for the whole panel here, because obviously there are more and more articles coming out nowadays with how people think and how people process information and how people have inner monologues and things like that. And like for me, and it's again, the foreground processing versus the background processing took me years to figure that out. That was not an overnight thing, but it's something that I wanted to focus on. And I like all my buddies who were diagnosed with ADD, like I matched up with them and I said to myself, instead of letting this be a hindrance to me, I'm going to let it be a benefit. I just need to figure out how to do that. So for me, I can have anything playing in the background, a podcast, anything like that. And if I choose, and a lot of times, sometimes I don't choose it, but if I start focusing on a foreground thought, and this is a multiple times a day daily occurrence for me, to the point where I could be sitting down having a conversation, I could be intently listening to a podcast, but if I start thinking about something and start trying to answer that question to myself, the thought becomes so fucking prevalent in my mind. While I'm driving, I will fucking no longer see the road. I will see the images that I'm thinking about. I will see the thoughts I will hear the thoughts that I'm thinking about. So
that's
fucking
not safe, Royce.
Yeah,
no, it's absolutely not fucking safe. There have been
Dude, I
enjoy giving you shit. I don't want you to fucking die.
No, but here's the thing is like, dude, I've done this well, the funny thing is when all of a sudden you snap out of a deep thought and you go, where the fuck did the last 30 miles go? Because I drive for work. I drive probably anywhere 500 to 1,000 miles a week just for work. I'm just on the road that much.
Oh, that's it.
And I don't do a driving job. That's the thing. I'm a fucking safety inspector. That's just like half of my job is in the office. The other half is going out and checking on the guys. So yeah, but that's one of those things that I wanted to ask you guys is when you're talking about putting music on and things being distracting and things like that, I realize that it's a really prevalent conversation in the world right now of how people's thought processes work. And like for me, if I start getting into something, it doesn't matter damn near what's on in the background, even music to a certain point. But I can, for me, I just naturally just go into and block out all of, and the background noise is still there, but the foreground thought is so prevalent that I legitimately don't see what's in front of me anymore. How does that work with you guys? Where are all of you guys with that? Like, how do your minds work when you're in the process of whatever it is, work, creativity? Like, or do you guys think differently? Because this is really interesting to me, figuring out like the kind of the psychology of how people get into all of that. So whoever I have no idea if that's a succinct question or all at all, but I think you guys
it's a clear
understand.
enough question.
So who wants to dive in on that one first? You guys can rock, paper, scissors. I don't care.
I'm
First of
happy
all-
to, unless Daniel wants to.
First of all, a PSA for everyone watching: don't be like Royce. Think responsibly.
Think with crazy. I like it.
Whose bills you paying here to be barking like that? No one's.
And
Shush.
secondly,
Right.
I do not have that specifically, so I don't think I can talk about it, because it's not an experience I've had. But it freaks my daughter out that if I'm writing and she has to come into the sanctum sanctorum to ask me a question or something, I will look at her while she's talking and still be typing, because my fingers just know where the keys are and my thoughts don't stop.
That's interesting. Are you processing what she's saying to you at the same time?
Yes.
That's fucking interesting.
It wigs her out.
I don't know if I could do that necessarily.
For me, it's situational. It really depends on what it is that I'm doing. Like I said before, work stuff, I'm so used to having to multitask that when I'm doing strictly work-related stuff, I can be kind of absorbing a million different things at once, still be productive, still be focused, and still get things done properly on the work side. However, once I shift into the creative side, like I was saying, like going back to my example of only being able to listen to non-lyrical music if I'm writing, all of a sudden my brain, something happens where it shifts and I can still listen to music, but I can't be listening to words, if
Right.
that makes sense, because it is, as long as it's instrumental music specifically, or maybe it's like atmospheric, right? So maybe it's ambient type music, because I'm trying to just feel a specific ambiance. Maybe it's storms or something like that, or the sound of waves crashing in the sea, or maybe it's the sound of a river rushing, right? Things like that I can totally handle, and I use those to feed whatever it is that I'm working on. Even something like, this is a particular story that I'm writing, that if hearing the sounds of like maybe a forest late at night, and so you hear crickets, you hear maybe some wolves howling in the distance, things that are still ambient noise to a nighttime scene, that my brain can handle when I'm in creative mode. But anything else, like somebody starts talking to me, someone starts playing music and it's got lyrics to it, anything else that involves somebody doing this, right? Nope. Like I can no longer focus properly, but I can do it when I'm doing work related things, which are not great, and still be completely effective, completely
It's left
efficient.
brain, right brain.
Yeah, it's so strange. It's so
and
strange.
that's why it wigs out my daughter that I keep typing when she comes to ask me a question, and I have a conversation with her answering that question. Because for me, if I stop, I've lost my train of thought. I'm done for a while. I won't be able to get back to the zone until I restart the process. Before, I couldn't be interrupted, but now at this point in all the years I've been writing, I can continue to write and still have a brief conversation with somebody. But the moment I stop to think about what's going on with them more than peripherally.
Yeah.
She'll come down and be like, what do you want for dinner? And I'll say, pick something and just keep going. Cause I don't want to be interrupted. But if she says, hey, I'm going to go out, I'll have a whole, what time are you going to be home? Have a good time. Love you, all that stuff. And I'll still be typing away, not even looking at the screen. She'll be looking at it and I'm still typing words. It's not gibberish. And she's like, that wigs me out every time I see that. No, like I could theoretically be not like totally back turned to the screen and still know how to type the words without looking at the keyboard. It's from the transcribing thing. But if there's a legitimate problem that I have to actually devote mental energy to in order to have the conversation, then it's a restart. I have to go through the whole process of getting myself back into the imaginative to write again after it's done. So, it's one of those things. It's like putting the brakes on versus stopping the car fully.
That's okay. That's an interesting way of looking at it.
That's a little bit different for me because if I'm making music, I mean that you got guitar in your hand, so your hands are doing something, your eyes are looking at the DAW, and your ears are listening constantly what's going on. So you're engaging all these senses, so it doesn't really allow for something else to be happening because you need all of that. But for working, I always have music on in the background for work. But kind of similarly, I try to avoid words or music that's too all over the place. Like a lot of people listen to classical when they work. I can't do it, man. Classical's all over the place. It comes in soft, then it gets big, and then there's like the violins come in and the brass.
And all of a sudden you get this crazy crescendo going, and you're like, bro, I'm trying to concentrate.
Yeah, man, exactly. I'm like, what is happening?
Orchestra has a ton of moving parts that your mind subconsciously orients through. So it's engaging the logic center of the brain while also satisfying the creative, imaginative side. And that's why it jars people.
It's pretty awesome.
I can't do it. I throw on some like lo-fi, or if I do want to have some words, I listen to something in another language.
Dude, I listen to lo-fi, synthwave, dark wave stuff all the like literally all day long while I'm working or writing, or like some sort of amalgamation of like
he wants to throw a brick at you.
Synth, dark, and techno, like all wrapped into one. Like
I have gotten to a point where music is that's my chill. Like if I am listening to music, that's one of those like I'm no longer doing anything. I have decided I'm fucking done for the day. I turn on some music and I turn it on fucking loud, and usually my wife is like, really, the neighbors don't need to hear it. And I'm like, but I put the sound bar and the subwoofer in the garage. And she's like, at least close the doors. But for me, dude, it is that it's that de-stressor. Like if I'm in haul ass mode and like we're getting stuff done, it's podcasts, it's long form video, things like that. But if like I'm sitting outside running the smoker or whatever, and it's light outside, because admittedly I start the smoker very early in the morning, but it's like, all right, nobody's gonna bitch at me for
you have
like,
to if you're slow smoking it. Like, you gotta.
Well,
if you're cooking something slow, it's gonna take all damn day.
Oh yeah, no. Usually that thing's fired up at like 2 a.m, but that's a different conversation. But
I'm still awake at that hour, not getting up at that hour.
I've already gone to bed and then I wake up at that hour, but I also wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Actually, so 4th of July, I ended my day on the 4th of July and I did a 38-hour day that day because I woke up on the 3rd of July at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm okay.
And then we had company come over, and my wife was like, oh, they're going to be here at like, I was like, oh, they're going to be here at like 4. So I'll go to bed for a little bit. I'll wake up. I'll cook the lamb leg. It'll be a good time. And my wife was like, no, they're going to be here at like 8 in the morning. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to all night this bitch and I'm going to cook this lamb leg and we're going to have it in and around lunchtime, depending on how long the lamb leg decides to take. Dude, it was fucking killer. We did homemade lamb leg gyros. My wife did homemade pita bread, the homemade tzatziki sauce. Like I slow smoked the lamb leg for like 11 hours. Oh, dude. It was
Damn.
baller.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
yeah. And then at about 6 o'clock that
It's
night,
fine. I haven't eaten since
went-
12:30.
I went to bed. And that was 38
deal.
hours after
That's
I
a
woke
lie. I
up.
ate at 2:30.
Yeah.
Also
But
no
no,
big
but
deal.
it was but like stuff like that, like I'll put like music on, like podcast, like there's sometimes like podcasts, like, you know, I can kind of get in that mode where I'm just like working, but like if I'm in a music mood, fuck it, everything else is going away. Music is my chill spot. It used to be that, like what you guys were talking about, you put on something in the background while you're working, but music isn't that for me anymore. Music is
Makes sense.
I'm going away from everything in the world right now. I'm gonna fucking chill, and that's where I'm at. That's really fucking cool to hear how all of you guys associate that stuff together.
Well, there's a lot of psychology there, and it's going to vary from person to person because no
It
two
does.
brains are 100%
So-
alike.
Lo-fi is
So-
my decompression.
Dude, it's so
Right.
relaxing. That's one of the
Mhm.
reasons why I listen to it all day while I'm working, especially if it's a day where I have like 1,000,001 things to get done. It's like, okay, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to throw on some lo-fi and I'm just going to get it done.
Wait.
That's just what's going to happen.
Oh, I can't. do
Yeah, it's good
lo-fi.
stuff.
I'm not saying I can't do lo-fi ever. It's just not my first,
That's fine.
not my
wrong with that.
go-to.
Dude, there's some people that don't like classic rock. They're wrong, but that's, you know.
okay. So I will say this. I have less of a taste for classic rock anymore because I have listened to it so much. It's like it's kind of lost its sheen to me.
Royce's
listened to
Lane
it
confirmed.
so much. No, dude, I'm a fucking musician. Like I'm one of those guys that everybody's like, oh, Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and this, that. And I'm like, okay, hold on. One, they absolutely revolutionized music. You are not going to tell me that Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin did not revolutionize music.
Sure.
When their music comes on the radio, do I go, oh my God, I have to? No, I usually shift the channel because I've heard the fucking songs a million times. The songs are
Like I
twice
said,
my
William.
fucking age.
Zeppelin for me, I'll listen to. Pink Floyd, I can take or leave. But if
yeah,
like Boston comes on, I'm turning that bitch up to like
That's right.
all the way to 30.
It depends, dude. That
And
dude,
rolling
that first
down the
album, you know, that
windows.
first album was recorded in his basement, right?
Yeah.
Like that was like old school cassette tape recording.
Yeah.
That first album is god tier. Like no, Boston. And again, I'm not saying that there's not a lot of stuff out there, but I have listened. Actually, funny enough, because I'm fucking slowly turning into a weeb, which I guess I'm getting that
Wow.
late in life.
Good.
Well, my kids are getting into anime, which I mean, fuck, I got into Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing back in the day, you know, Princess Mononoke, like the
What's your
stuff that was
Gundam?
What's your favorite Gundam?
Fuck,
What
what's
is
it
your
called?
mobile suit?
The really badass red looking one from the first,
The
from the
Epion.
original.
Epion?
Epion. Thank you.
Yeah.
yes, Epion. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Good
Dude, that
choice.
was
You're okay.
Dude, Epion.
You may
that was such a
continue.
good. And then, not only that, but the introduction of the Epion, you were just like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's
dude,
badass.
like, dude, shit's about to go down. But anyway, yeah. But now they're getting into it. So I'm like, all right, I need to vet all of the shows before my kids watch it. Because if the kids are like, oh, we want to watch anime, it's like, okay, you're not gonna watch this one. This one's good, like, and you know, so on and so
Stay
forth.
away from isekai. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
I like some
I've-
isekais because I enjoy the I enjoy
There's-
the idea of it. There are too many of them, and of the too many, there are far too many that just aren't enjoyable
Not
or aren't good.
good
It's like, okay,
at
so you
all.
just took the idea, which is a fun idea, and you just did nothing with it.
Dude, but what I've been really getting into, like, I have been looking for anime intros and outros that are just absolutely fucking baller, because every so often, and I will say this as an American listening to some of these songs, fucking 90% of them suck. But I will say this, when an anime intro fucking slaps, or when the outro slaps, it fucking slaps, and it slaps hard, and it's like, Holy shit.
Okay.
There's some
Okay.
anime that have like banger after banger after banger
All right.
of intros
So-
and outros.
Look up. Have you ever heard of an anime series called Parasite?
No.
Look
Yes.
up the intro for that. That intro will have you on your fucking back. Jesus Christ.
Dude.
is a-
Dude, the one that got me.
That's gonna have you feeling the ghost.
Dude, it was on my playlist. We was listening to it. We were driving to like Christmas dinner or something, and my wife was like, "What is this song?" And I'm like, "This is the anime." So Shangri-La Frontier it came out in 2023. They did one. I think they're getting a second season. Dude, that first track that because they have to shift it up halfway through, probably licensing issues or whatever. But dude, the first like 10 episodes, it's called Broken Games. It's a FMZM or something like that, but it's called Broken Games. It's a Shangri-La. Dude, that intro track hits so damn hard. And not only that, but it has so many variables to it. My wife listened to it and she was like, play it again. So I played it again. She's like,
Dude,
"Play it
there's
again."
some anime intros
Dude,
and outros that are freaking bangers. Like, I don't know if you've watched Rising of the Shield Hero, but the first opening for that was, for me, I was like, oh, I'm so ready for this show. And then the first season was also just really fun in general.
And then the show absolutely fucking sucked after that.
See, I actually haven't seen past the first season, but that is what I've
It's-
heard. And I'm like, really?
Yep.
That sucks, because the first season was really good.
I'm mostly caught up, and
That bums me out, but it's like,
not-
I guess that's one less thing I gotta waste my time on.
Fire Force opening to Mayday is, I don't know. I didn't like the Fire Force
A
ones.
lot of the original FMA openings were bangers.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
watch Full Metal Alchemist, not Brotherhood, which is
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
just the animated version of the manga, but like the original animation of it, which didn't follow the manga as closely. The openings and closings that they had for that were just incredible. Some
Emily,
of them.
why did you
So-
type that in the chat? The Attack on Titan season 1 opening was fucking
Since you didn't
Baller.
watch any further series of Failing of the Shield Hero,
failing of the Shield Hero.
Damn, how do you really feel?
yeah,
Dude,
you,
it's
you
not
gotta
good.
check out
It's not
same band that did the opening intro to season 1 did another opening intro for, I want to say 2, possibly 3, I don't remember exactly. The band's called Mad Kid, and I believe the song is called Faith. You should check it out. It's just as good, if not better.
There's another anime it's an isekai. It's called Arafueta from Commonplace to World's Strongest, and it's effectively like,
Oh yeah,
it's a really good anime if you're in that place where like you feel like you just got like burned really badly in life, and so it's this guy that just gets completely shat on, left for dead, and then he basically becomes the final boss. And so it's like actually like oddly uplifting in that regard, because it's like, oh, you know what, the world tried to say fuck me, no, fuck you, right? And that's basically how it feels. My bestie got me into that show at like the perfect time in my life, and the first opening to that is like a really energetic, like
Battleship Yamamoto.
like you feel like you're powering up when you're listening to it.
Dude, one of the first ones that got me was the very first opening to Dr. Stone. That whole song,
Oh yeah,
dude, that whole song is just like,
drumming in that song, man.
huh?
Well,
That song,
Dude, I know that guy's isn't. Dude, that
transcribed
drummer's a
the drums, I'm
fucking
like-
god.
yeah.
That guy is.
I believe there
unbelievable.
was mention in the chat of JoJo's,
Oh no!
I can't
and all
do
I have
JoJo.
to say
can't do
is,
JoJo.
"Oh, you approaching me?"
It's not my bag.
I've never seen it.
can't do it.
I've
can't
I
do it.
it just the show looks a little too
From it,
weird for
it's-
me.
Yeah, it's out there.
For me,
Don't-
animation style is a big part of like what I'll be willing to watch or read,
Dude.
and it just, the art direction just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I know it's super popular. It's not for me.
So after years, I finally got my wife to watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
She
And
was saying that to me on Twitter publicly,
yeah.
by the way, not in DMs.
Yeah,
Want to be clear on that.
yeah.
She said that like she was like watching you watch DB
Yeah.
Super, and then all of a sudden she got hooked. I
Dude.
was like,
No, you
get
know
it
what it was?
now.
We were going to the gun range. We were going to the gun range. I drive so much, I can literally put a show on my phone and just listen to it, especially if I've seen it before.
Yeah.
And so we had the kids in the car, and to kind of keep them quiet, I kind of had like my phone like balancing on like the stereo, and it was the Dragon Ball Super episode where Goku is fighting Caulifla. And
Yeah, I know who that is.
he's
I'm
literally
gonna be-
riding the Kamehameha wave up the fucking beam that they're,
Well,
and he
what is
fucking
this
does the
Khalifa does her
Yeah.
beam that's like supposed to end him, but he like grinds on that beam
Yeah,
with
dude.
his command.
And my wife
I've
is
seen that.
like, she's watching this episode and she's like, what the fuck am I seeing? And she was like, and I'm like, legitimately, that is there are like, for me, there are probably four
That's
moments.
actually one of the best moments in Dragon Ball franchise.
Oh no,
history.
I was gonna say, like, for
And I'm
me,
not
starting
even
with see,
a fan
I
of Super.
because I don't remember a lot of Dragon Ball. I need to go back and watch original Dragon Ball. But for me, there are four moments in like the Dragon Ball, like between Z and Super, and it is the OG Super Saiyan transformation. I mean, come the
Classic.
fuck on,
Instant
like,
classic.
great. Then you have from there you've got the Gohan Super Saiyan 2 transformation and
Oh.
just that whole fucking cell fight.
Yeah, I was about to say that like that's that.
Oh,
What, one of Gohan's two good moments in his
Yeah,
entire
I know,
fucking life,
right? He only gets a couple.
and the rest of the time
Then-
he's a useless fucking
Dude,
character.
Then Vegeta sacrificing himself to save his son and the planet in
in
Buu
Majin
arc.
Buu, yep,
Oh,
yep.
and then you obviously have Goku riding the fucking Kamehameha ball in his hand up Caulifla's like there are like, when Dragon Ball decides to do a moment, they fucking moment hard.
Oh
dude.
yeah, they moment really hard.
Real
when they
hard.
do that. Yeah, no
Like-
question about it. Like I've been a Dragon Ball fan since the original, since I was a little kid. You know, since early Toonami days, watching
Yep.
Dragon Ball airing in the States, and freaking shit. I'm not afraid to admit it. I watched Sailor Moon too.
Yep.
Fuck yeah,
'cause
dude.
Even like
I watched
dude,
the fuck out of Sailor Moon. I ain't
Seven
even-
and 7 and 8-year-old Andrew was like, "I'm down with this."
And here's the thing: when you're 7 and 8, they're twice your age, so it's not weird.
Well, the thing is
Yeah.
like, like Sailor Moon, like it was on cool, but my Sailor Moon was Ronin Warriors. That's where I was. That was my jam. That
you
and
Whoa. Wow,
Oh,
you just
Knights of the
unlocked some
Zodiac,
shit
yeah.
in my brain.
Core memories. Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
buddy.
have not. I still remember the armor.
Oh yeah, the samurai.
Dude, that's some 25-year-old shit that you just rattled loose. My God.
You're welcome.
Wow, I need to dust the cobwebs up in this old brain of mine. Holy fuck. Dude, I remember that show was the shit. Didn't have many
Oh, yeah.
seasons, if I remember correctly.
It only had like 26 episodes, I believe.
Yeah.
25, 26, something like that.
Fuck. That somebody said to me the other day, they were talking about Zoids, and I was like, oh shit.
Wow. Well, which Zoids?
The
Because there were
original.
Zoids
Original.
Battle Frontier.
No, the
and there was-
original.
okay, so like the one where it was like a fucking war.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
See, I watched both. I liked both, but I also really liked the Liger Zero and all. Like it's
Dude,
yeah,
I
the
had
Panzer,
dude,
the
I had the
Schneider.
full fucking like the 24-inch
Ah,
Liger
shit.
Zero. I had that motherfucker. That was like, yeah, I got that for my birthday one year, dude. Like, fuck, that was so cool.
They had those in buttfuck nowhere.
No, I didn't live in buttfuck nowhere. I lived in the suburbs of Denver.
You live
at
in
the
this
time.
fuck nowhere.
I didn't move to buttfuck nowhere until I was a teenager. But no, dude,
Fair enough. Dude,
fucking
respect though. Respect that. The
dude.
Liger was bad.
Dude, that Liger Zero was like when you saw that thing come on the screen, you were just like, and here we fucking
Yep, you were like,
go.
"Argh, let's
Yeah,
go.
Oh man, God, that was, and all of that. Well, you guys remember Big O? I'm assuming you remember
Yeah,
Big
I
O.
remember Big O.
And all of that was
Cyborg,
before
Cyborg 009.
yeah,
all that.
before
That's my
Pokemon,
jam.
before Yu-Gi-Oh, really before anime really started taking hold of the West. But like that was like the start of it. When I mean,
yeah.
yes, you had some in the '80s, but I mean, realistically, everything that Toonami was doing at the time, just releasing all this anime out there. It was like, dude, it was like hooking people left and fucking
Toonami,
right.
The Midnight Run, and Toonami, The Rising Sun single-handedly popularized anime in North America on like a really wide scale because they were smart about it, right? They started with the stuff that were kind of easy sells, right? You had your Dragon Ball, you know, Sailor Moon, but then you get you know your Inuyasha, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, which is my shit. Outlaw Star, which is the shit and super underrated, and people forgot about it because it aired during the same time that like Inuyasha and Trigun and Cowboy Bebop was, so it got overshadowed. But that show was badass. And then you had like
about a
Gundam
theme song
Wing.
that slapped. Outlaw Star's theme would just get wedged in your brain and never let go.
Yeah, you had Gundam Wing at the time. You had G Gundam. You had all these things. And then they started like rolling out some of the older Gundams.
Oh shit, Lupin!
Wow. Well, dude, and then they started having those specials. Where it was like on the weekends, I think, where they would sometimes run anime movies like Lupin the Third and stuff like that. And so they slowly started getting that culture embedded into ours.
And that's where the Hayao Miyazaki stuff actually started to embed itself in Western culture. Was during that period because they were running Castle in the Sky and
Kiki's
Princess
Delivery
Mononoke,
Service, dude. When I was a little kid,
loves Kiki's Delivery Service. I'd not seen it until a few years ago.
That is one of the most like just genuinely hopeful, heartwarming pieces of media I've ever consumed,
dude. All right, so that leads me into this question because I wanted to ask this. What was the first anime movie you saw that you didn't realize it was anime because you were a little kid? Mine, Princess Mononoke.
It was definitely a Ghibli film for me.
Dude, Ghibli is that like it's got to be right. Like if it's
it was
anime,
probably Kiki's, honestly, but shortly thereafter would have been Princess Mononoke, and I was way too young to be watching Princess Mononoke, but I watched it.
dude, I watched the fuck out of that movie, man. So when I was like, I don't even think I was 10 yeyears old, maybe. But I was like, oh hey mom, it's a cartoon, and I was like, this shit's fucking awesome. But it's like a hero. Like, I don't think my parents would even cared about the gore. Oh God, it was so good.
You're too young. You were too young for Princess Mononoke. Meanwhile, I was too young for Ninja Scroll. That was
I saw that shortly thereafter too, bro. I saw that shortly thereafter too, along with like Vampire Hunter.
Okay, so Kikomon,
Vampire Hunter D was the first animated film that I actually watched. Movie, so feature length film that I didn't realize was anime at the time because I just been watching the cartoons on early Cartoon Network, thinking they were just cool cartoons and never had a clue what they were. And then a buddy of mine found this utterly twisted film that was the culmination of a series that never made it across the ocean, but the film did, and it was given an English dub, so we all crowded around to watch this thing, and it was absolutely insane and kind of mentally scarring.
Are you just gonna edge us forever? Are you gonna finally fucking tell us what the fuck?
It's called X.
They call me the gay one.
It was released in 1996, and dude, this thing had limbs being chopped off and blood everywhere, decapitations. And it was just so bizarre and insane that we're all sitting on the couch watching this thing with like a bowl of popcorn that nobody touched because we were all too afraid to move while it was playing out.
Cool. Dude, there were some anime that came out in the 80s and early 90s that were just the most violent, brutal shit you've ever seen in your life.
I mean, Ninja Scroll was bad.
It makes the most violent, like gore porn stuff that we see in the West look like child.
Dude, but they got into like that body, like that body horror style. Yeah. Oh, dude. All right, so Kikomon sent in $20, and because I'm on an unmonetized channel, fuck it. Hail to Kikomon. You know what? He says that this one slaps. So let's see if this one does in fact slap.
Tokyo Revenge.
Tokyo like Hooba Stank
File.
was super popular and
Oh,
shit.
Fuck yeah.
It's in
Dude,
my head.
actually, dude,
Before
on
they
that
came out
same
with that
album,
song.
Hoobastank has a
Yes.
song called Out
Michael
of
Harris,
Control.
Trust Company.
Trust Company.
Yeah, that's the band that I was thinking of. If you listen to them, the lead singer does the same sort of breathy performance with his vocals. And yes, Michael Harris is correct. That's what I was thinking of. Trust Company.
Dude,
they had like technically a one-hit wonder, but they were actually a pretty awesome band.
Interesting.
Better than
Dude.
Chumbawamba.
So fuck the
Yeah.
Chumbawamba. I get knocked down. Right. But no, dude, the other ones that really hooked me was Jujutsu Kaisen has had a couple
I
of
still
fucking
haven't watched
bangers,
that.
dude.
That one's too easy.
Fuck Jujutsu
No. For the so the credits in the first season,
Yeah.
but the opener for the second season are fucking bangers.
I've been told I
dude.
would really enjoy that series.
Like
I've
just
never
the
gotten
music.
around to it.
It's really complicated. I'm keeping up with some channels that cover a lot of manga and stuff like that. And my God, that guy, like, I don't know what he snorted to write that story, but like, I think he's forgotten half of what the fuck he's written. But like, no, it's fun.
It'd
But
be
no,
far from
what
the
I'm
first
saying is like,
mangaka to do so.
what like America over processes the shit out of music to a point that I just can't stand it anymore. My perfect like era of processing and mixing was actually like the early 2000s, like 2000 to like 2010 for like rock music, right? Because we weren't getting so heavy into everything, just like blending it. You could hear all of the individual instruments.
Yeah.
And I feel like Japan for a lot of
certain
the stuff,
certain implements and elements weren't getting lost in the
Exactly.
mix of everything.
and
This wasn't
Japan's
much
doing a
progression
really
there.
good job with that in a lot of the music they're putting out in the animes now. And so when I hear a song that just nails it on those fronts, I'm just like, shit. Like, dude, like
So-
they're
Japanese music I've actually been listening to since like high school. So roughly about half my life.
right.
I've been listening to it for like half my
So
life.
what you're saying is you're an old now.
I am very and old, but
I'm very an old.
Dude, it's
He's
alright.
not just an old, he's very an
very
old.
and old.
We're-
I've been
Ignore
but
him.
I've gotten to the point where it's like I'm not just looking up like theme songs. I'm looking at artists and their whole body of work as well.
Oh,
yes.
So
Yep.
they're,
I'm getting there. I've thought about starting to look into like some stuff like that.
there's actually a band. There's a band. The lead singer unfortunately passed.
Oh.
He had
Were you gonna say
he had heart complications.
Hitori?
Yeah.
No. The band's name is Pay Money to My Pain.
Mm.
And they've had
name.
it ain't it?
That's
but
a good name. That's a great
Damn.
name.
it's funny because like
That sounds
story
like
behind-
some emo shit. And I'm not knocking it for it, but is that some emo shit? Because that sounds like some emo shit.
Well, no, the story behind the title of the name of the band is that the lead singer he struggled with depression a lot, and he also liked music, so it basically came to him like people pay money to his pain kind of thing. He kept putting on music. The music is really good. I can't remember the name of it's like a soccer anime that they had one of their songs on. But they have a lot of good songs that they've worked on throughout the 2010s and whatnot. So if anybody's looking for it's like they're a Japanese band, all of their songs are in complete English.
Mm.
Nice.
That's cool.
There's that too. It's pretty good.
I like it when
If
they
you're
go
looking for, look 'em up.
straight Japanese. Unless you get like the Duran Gray. You guys know Duran Gray?
Oh yeah, I know Duran Gray. They're in the
Yeah.
same vein as like
Of course.
Despair Ray and
Yeah,
Nightmare and whatnot.
They did an album in like the early 2000s, and apparently it's all in English. I had no idea because it just sounds like a mess.
Like with Tada Hikaru's like the beginning of her career. She slowly transitioned into, oh wait, no, I'm not just American. I'm also Japanese. And now almost everything she sings is like Japanese.
Yeah.
I prefer that, man. Sometimes, yeah, they throw English in them. Like, oh, this song's awesome. They get to the English. I'm like, ooh, that lyric is, and the way you said those words
Actually,
is not quite it.
okay,
That's because
okay,
they're
okay.
super
I gotta
flat.
show you, dude, because this song hits so fucking hard. Because you're talking about, I wasn't gonna do it, but then you said that, and now I'm gonna do it because
Maximum the Hormone?
no.
Oh, is it What Up People? Zetspo Billy?
Hold on.
Uiki Kaios?
You're gonna pull up some Nickelback. Just wait.
Yeah.
No.
Never made it as a wise man. Oh Lord.
I mean, legit, still my favorite band. To
Look at this
fucking day,
photograph.
but,
Look at this photograph.
oh, stupid ads. Give me a second. Let me get past the ads. No, this
Nickelback, man.
this song, dude, from my favorite anime of 2023. This song hits so fucking hard, and they mix the English and the Japanese in really freaking well. This is the song I was telling you. My wife was like, "What are you listening to? This is amazing." When she started watching, this is Broken Games from Shangri-La Front. Like,
That's a good blend of different styles.
dude, like that song hits so fucking hard. That's on my regular playlist. Like,
Some of the best stuff is when like very heavily anime influenced video games will have like a high quality anime opening like before you hit the start screen.
God Eater.
I
God
fucking
Eater's
love
famous
that,
for
man.
that
Like,
shit.
well, I'm a big, so my 3 favorite JRPG franchises, none of which are Final Fantasy. That's top 5. Xenoblade or Xeno
Right
in
there.
general, because I've been
The
playing
Xeno-
since
yeah,
I've been
Xeno
playing
series
since
in general.
Xenogears. Yep. Persona and the Tales of franchise. And all of those have phenomenal music. Persona, like ever since Persona 3, like stepped up their music like to just another level, and it slaps so hard. But the Tales franchise in particular, every single entry since like Tales of Symphonia back on the GameCube, which was
Damn, that's like
2000,
4, 5, somewhere
I
around there.
think it came out in 2004. I played that game more times than I can count, but that franchise consistently, even in the entries where I'm not a gigantic fan of the game itself, the opening is like the most high quality anime opening you can think of, and it's like, dude, you guys get it. And I love when they implement that, because music sets the tone so well. Like the first time I booted on Persona 5, and I hear the opening, I'm like, let's
Dude,
fucking go.
But that's like, I mean, that's like the Halo music.
Right, like you hear the Halo music and you're immediately like, you're in the zone, like you're
Dude,
ready to go, man.
You're not even on this planet anymore.
But isn't that so incredible?
And you're just like, and I'm killing aliens. I don't
Well, video games,
and then the
video games are such an incredibly unique medium in that they get to blend the best facets of other mediums, and if they do it well, they end up this amalgamation of the absolute best elements of everything. Like if you could play a game that, like, obviously the gameplay should be something foremost in mind, because it's a game, you're supposed to be experiencing, it shouldn't just be just one long cutscene. Just go watch a fucking movie. But if you can combine phenomenal gameplay with a phenomenal story, and then you also add that atmosphere with the music, with the score, like you have an unreal experience. Like I will never forget those days back when I was in middle school playing the original Halo Combat Evolved, man. And the score, Marty's score in that game is god tier. Like I put him up there with the best of them.
Nobuo Ematsu, Yoko Shimomura, those
incredible, like iconic. Like you can't hear his music and not know that it's him.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. That's again the Halo theme, like just the foresight, because that's I'm sorry, if that theme were not that theme, that game would not be as iconic.
No,
as
it wouldn't.
is.
That
It just-
theme contributed as much to the iconography of the franchise
Mhm.
as Master Chief himself.
Oh, 100%.
If not more so, because Master Chief himself is, you don't, unless you read the novels, you don't get that much out of his character. And I have read the novels, to be clear, but like that music, that theme is incredible. Shoot, I'm proud of it.
You know.
I'm proud of it, man. I got nothing.
Oh, I gotta show you guys when we go into the after show. I gotta show you guys something predominantly because I gotta go down to my garage to show it to you. But it's really cool.
Okay. But that music is incredible, and especially as somebody who, like, I did competition choir when I was in high school.
Oh, no shit, me too.
Hearing really nice,
Yeah,
nice. I did competition choir and I did barbershop, so like hearing all the intricacies, the different levels, and everything in that piece, that theme, you're like, there's so much going on here, and it's cool that somebody put that much effort into a game score, because at that time, at least, a lot of people thought of video games as like a lower class entertainment medium, because we hadn't reached the point yet where, because at that point there were still a lot of great movies coming out, but once video games kind of became the primary entertainment medium of a lot of people, as opposed to going to see a Hollywood movie in theaters, you realize just how much quality can be involved with a video game. And Halo Combat Evolved and Martin O'Donnell's score for that is exemplary.
Dude, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here on Iron Age Nights. Let's give everybody a minute to say where they are from and how they do. I totally, absolutely skipped my co-hosts in the beginning of the show. It's totally my fault. Hey,
well, then
Daniel.
let's start with them to make sure that they get in.
Daniel. Stop with the whip. I don't. Nope. I knew.
Oh, it's a bell. It's a bell. It's fine.
It's a bell, man.
It's a bell.
Pay attention.
Shame.
Daniel.
That's coconuts.
Where are you from? What do you do? How can we find you? And is it with binoculars?
Riley, who is also from whimsyland.org, literary coaching and services, where I help you as a creative create the very best project and publication that you can make. And I have a new website, which is now in my brackets and my title there. That's where you can find all things G Said I in one handy little link. And you can find me on X at Mr. DP Riley. Follow me there if you like. Haven't been doing a lot of posting lately because I'm trying to X out all of my July work before the barbecue. So I've just been forced editing everything.
Nuts. Oh, dude. Awesome, man. I'm so sorry I skipped you guys. Hey, Everly Music.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, look, I didn't skip you. See, I got there. It just took 2 hours, 2 seconds. How are you?
Yeah, we only get to talk about our stuff at the end of the show when nobody's really
didn't fucking mean to, okay?
Yeah. Screw us.
I'm long-winded. Blame me.
No, I'm not. I don't swing that way. That's Andrew's job.
He got you. That was quite the redirect, I gotta say.
So,
dog thinking he can bark and shit.
I am
Apparently
Justin.
is yellow.
I'm Justin, but I make music under the name Evely, the band named Evely. If you type that in any and all streaming platforms, you can find my music there. I got 3 albums or 4 that are instrumental chip tune, like Nintendo sound over rock/metal. And then my newer stuff is more like traditional metal, heavy at times, melodic at times. It's if that sounds like something that is up your alley, or if you're just curious, please check it out or send a friend. I also co-host the Iron Seas Tuesday nights with Bat Sauce, the Ultimate Kahuna, and AC Pritchard, where we watch and discuss a film. We get into storytelling, writing, a little bit of fighting. Million thanks to our guests. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out, and hail to the chat.
Yes.
Always hail to the chat.
No, they're miscreants and delinquents. Damn it. They're not. It's not the same here.
This is why you're a horrible YouTuber.
Probably. True. Sheeps! Where can we find you? What do we do? What do you do, good sir? What do we do? I don't know.
What do we do?
I'm
Really?
That's why I was like, hey guys, we need to end this because I'm getting fucking tired and I can't words.
You
right
know
now.
You can find me across almost any social media platform here at Sheepsidian. I am also working on a manga in my off time.
Whoa, that totally changed everything on my screen.
It's a self. I'm a one-man army on the whole thing. I'm doing the story and the art. And I guess thinking and all of that
That's
stuff.
awesome, dude.
It's called Pandemonium. The prologue is currently available on my locals. Pandemonium.locals.com. It's good. I'm extending the first chapter by a few pages just to add a little more context, a little more action. But it will be out soon, is the best I can tell you. Otherwise, you'll find me again here on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatnot. Twix, excuse me, I call it Twix. And also, you'll find me over in the different forums that we man as well. For this company here, this lovely company that creates lovely magazines like this with lovely stories such as these. It's good. Go check it out. That's about it. Go away now.
Andrew, what do you do? Where can we find you?
Well, guys, I'm the creative social media manager and lead editor over at the Rippaverse. I am in a very blessed position to be surrounded by wonderful creatives, talented people, intelligent people who are just trying to bring great, refreshing, including sheep. He's not a diversity hire. He's actually just a great guy overall.
I'm another.
Wait, are you saying he's not even good enough to hire because of diversity? What the fuck, dude?
No, he was good enough to hire without diversity.
I'm here based off meritocracy. Let's go.
The diversity was just an add-on. Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the byproduct.
Guys, check out Rippaverse.com right now. We recently relaunched our website along with the pre-orders for Good in the Polymath, written by the legendary Mike Barron of Punisher and Flash fame, as well as creator of Nexus and Florida Man and a number of other books as well. Check out his website so you can get his personal books there. Pre-order Good in the Polymath, guys. Will Conrad is a phenomenal artist. His art on that book is out of control. And Mike knows how to write just the world's tightest script. It's ridiculous. Like the man shows his veteran status in his writing.
Mm-hmm.
You read his script and you're like, wow, this guy has been doing this for a long time. He knows what the hell he's doing.
I wish he could have been here, but his microphone grabbed it. We're gonna have to set up
unfortunately. You'll have to get him back for sure because Mike's a great guy.
We'll have to reschedule since Mike's audio was out.
Yeah.
Well, he was here early too. He was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be," and he showed up literally before the show, and his audio never worked. It sucked, man.
I was blessed to be able to shadow him this entire weekend at Denver Comic Con, Fan Expo, and the man's awesome. Like he's a wellspring of knowledge. I would encourage everybody to go check out his works. Check out Good in the Polymath over at Rippaverse.com. Check out my buddy Jeff Hicks over at World Class Bullshitters. Check out his latest Kickstarter, Wokebusters. It's actually a hysterical script. And check out his other book that he wrote a while back. Was it Stealing Solo, a Star Wars parody, which is
I've heard of
absolutely laugh out loud funny. Like that's the dude is a legitimate comic when it comes to like his writing. He can write some funny shit. Check that out.
Awesome.
And otherwise, everybody who has supported not just the Rippaverse, but indie comics in general, whether it's friends of the channel, whether it's maybe people we don't get along with, supporting indie comics is important. And I hope you guys are enjoying the stories you guys are putting your hard-earned money towards.
Awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, Kikomon sent in yet another super chat. And he wants to send us out with this anime intro. So Kikomon, for $5,